Hello, my name is Richard Sykes and I wrote By George. The show is a very personal story. It's a local story, so it's all about my childhood in Yorkshire, growing up around Yorkshire women, strong women. It's also about family, so the strong family bonds that we had around here when I was a kid as well. This musical really elevates performers of a certain age that perhaps thought they were done with musical theatre and couldn't get the leads anymore. And these incredible performers from my prime period about 20 years ago are the ones that are really elevating the piece. They are sensational. Can't wait to see them perform, and rehearsals are an absolute joy.
My name's Neovia Armitage and I'm playing Marge in By George. She's the villain, which is really interesting to play. The reason she's important is that she learns that George has money of his own. And she's looking for husband number 6, and that would be a good fit. So she sets about to divide and conquer, which is one of her songs, to divide and conquer the leading lady, Nikki, playing Pauline, and George. And she wants to get in there and steal George off Pauline. So I haven't been on stage for 20 years, and I used to do lots of shows back in the day, and Woodhouse was one of the main societies that I played with. And then I went away to have kids and form a business. And now I'm back for this one, so really excited about the whole thing.
Musical theatre should be vibrant, it should be exciting, but it's so rare to find something that accentuates incredible female performances of a certain age and is local. I am absolutely thrilled that Woodhouse Musical Theatre Company, my company, are forming a bond with Lawrence Batley Theatre to make this happen. It's a real combination of incredible talents, and it's so nice to be a part of. I hope the audience laughs to start off with. It's a massive comedy musical. I also hope they come out finger clicking to some of the songs, because there's some very catchy numbers in there and they're all brand new. It's amazing to see.
Hello, welcome back to By George From Page to Stage with me, Matt, and Mr. Richard Sykes. Today, I believe, Mr. Richard Sykes, we are once again in the LBT main auditorium.
Yay!
I mean, that's not the bit I believe. I already knew that. But I believe we're going to be talking to Neil, the director, and Keira, the musical director.
Yeah, these are two very, very big players in the musical. They are very, very good at what they do. We've worked with them ourselves for the last couple of years.
Multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely. And we recently did a show called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert with them, and it was a joy. An absolute joy to have their company with for that, but also for this. I'm astonished at their work rate. We are, at the time of filming, 6 weeks out. When the podcast goes out, we'll be about 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
But Neil has already set the majority of the show, and he's done it within the space of 4 weeks.
In fact, he's still doing it right now.
Yes, they're downstairs at the moment doing it while we're doing this. But it's an astonishing work rate, and it really has been a real passion for him to just get it going and get it done, so that we know that the show is ready.
Yeah.
You know, he's crashed through the script. He knows it in and out now. And Keira's just been a delight. She's taken, because let's face it, I mean, I've been throwing a lot of curveballs at her with this one. Well, it's a new score and a 10-part orchestration. She's had to learn the simplified piano part, which I've got to confess I rushed and copy and pasted, so it's not an easy thing for her to do. No. And she's just, every time I see her, she smiles, because she's really enjoyed the process. I was going to
say, she does come across that she's really enjoying it. And
they both do. Neil does as well.
Exactly, and I think that the fact that people can't compare this show to another production of this show means that it almost takes that pressure off them a little bit. Yeah. And it means that they can really put their stamp on it from day one. Yeah,
I think so. There's the added pressure, though, of not having a reference point. But then again, it's something very different for them. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they're going to say about it. Because, as I say, we've got the interview with them coming up.
Awesome.
So it should be fun.
Awesome.
Shall we?
Let's do it.
All right.
So, I'm joined by Neil, the director, and Keira, musical director. And we've just finished a big rehearsal tonight.
Yeah.
So talk us through what's happened, well, tonight and also so far on the rehearsal front.
We're doing pretty well, to be honest.
I think we're cracking on all right, Space.
Yeah, we cracked on with music rehearsals through June into July, and then this is our 10th floor rehearsal.
Yeah.
And I would say that we're more than 3/4 blocked and set.
Wow.
So we've powered through.
Yeah.
And it's been such an interesting one, really, hasn't it, to be fair, because ordinarily you've got so many reference points. You can watch some things on YouTube, you've seen the shows, whatever, and then you put your imagination stand on it. But with this, you can sit down to it, don't you, and you think, okay, what am I going to do with this then? And you've got to try and read into the text what Richard's written, what he's looking for, but also then you've got to visualise it, because a lot of this show relies on visual comedy as well as the written word.
Yeah.
So it's been a tough process, but it's been a mega enjoyable one, and one that, from my perspective, and I think probably from Keira's perspective, it's brought us closer together in terms of working together.
Yeah.
But also
Absolutely.
the company are really close, because we're finding we might hit a sticking point with something that I've set in my kitchen, Matt, like you know, and we'll work it out together, which is, you don't really get that opportunity sometimes in some of the bog standard shows that you put
Because
together.
it's so brand new, we're both coming at it from but it does this, and then like if you do something, you set something, and I'll go, but there's only like a bar to do that, and he'll go, oh, okay.
That's where I've had to rely on Keira a lot more, really, with this, because I understand music, but ordinarily when it's a score that you know, you think, oh, right, well, that bit will flow into that scene. But it's those bits that I've relied on Keira for, because I've got so much else to think about that, well, do I need a bar intro here, or have I got a bar intro here?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's a good point, though, because, like, with other musicals, you've got to fit with what's been written previously. Whereas we've kind of already mentioned it before. Richard and I spoke at length about the fact that there's been revisions not just to the script, but also to the score, to the arrangements of some of the numbers, changing the keys, changing some entire harmonies.
Adding things. Yeah, we've added harmonies tonight just because we've got people there that we didn't know we had.
So theoretically, if you'd choreographed something in the kitchen and then gone, oh, Keira, I need this, but there's like 4 bars that, you know, I need to kind of fill, but also there's this bit where it feels like there's not enough bars. Theoretically, you'd be able to change those little elements to add that
And we have
in
done.
And we have
to
done.
accommodate that.
But that's the good thing about having Richard with us and Maria, because we can say, guys, we think the tweak to this will work better in terms of the flow, and they've been more than accommodating and like, God, yeah, absolutely works better. So
which must be kind of a bit of a dream, really, because in some ways you can kind of go, I don't have to panic as much because, you know, you're not having to perform to Sondheim or something like that, where everyone's got to learn it and it's rigid and it's strict and it's, if you miss it, you're gone, you're done.
Absolutely.
With this, at least it's kind of going, okay, the whole cast are finding a problem with this number, or the whole cast are going, this isn't quite working the way that we expected, and maybe you guys are kind of setting it and you're going, okay, well, they can't sing that, or they can't do this. There's certain limitations.
There's certain rhythms as well that I found that I thought, oh gosh, these are hard, and they're not quite doing it right. And I've now said to Richard, I've been like, oh, they're not quite doing it. He's like, it's right. Don't worry about it. As long as they're singing something, they're not. It's there. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, because it's equally brilliant to have him there, because you get the answers that you want there and done. Immediately, yeah. But also you go, don't play it wrong. Don't do it wrong, because you sat right there.
I started out like that, but now I'm like, Richard.
Yeah.
This is how we're doing
Are you sure this is right?
One for both of you. With the accent situation, obviously, normally when we've done a musical, it's either like standard British or like standard American. They're like the two norms, unless you're doing something like, say, I don't know,
Calendar Girls.
Yeah, which is set in Yorkshire. With this, because it's like not just set in Yorkshire, but it's like Yorkshire through and through, born and bred. Is it kind of a bit weird to get used to people singing and speaking in that accent?
I hated
it
at first. I hate it because it's a different. You phrase your notes differently, and to my ear that goes, oh no, and then I go, but that's right, and I just need to let go and shut up and just okay, fine, leave it.
But to be honest, from my perspective, I've actually had to rein people in that were from Yorkshire, going overly Yorkshire. It's like, you're not quite from Barnsley coal mine.
Do you know, my husband says that to me. If I try and put on a Yorkshire accent, he says, why are you trying to put on a Yorkshire accent? You're from Yorkshire.
I know. But we don't think we sound Yorkshire, that's the problem.
Well, that's yeah.
They do.
I do.
Yeah, we do.
To me, you all do.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, because when you hear like Colin say something as as Harry, like the.
Oh yeah.
But that's he
Yeah.
naturally
Like a
is.
yogurt in an
He is a
area cupboard or
full-on
whatever, like-
He's
Yorkshireman.
very Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
It's Richard probably that's had the harder job, because I think so many years away doing what he did for a job, to get his Yorkshire accent out now,
Yeah.
it's like you've got to back to your roots a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I completely get that. I think with the singing as well, it's almost a default for people to RP up their accent a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
Or just Americanise
like
it
you said,
every time.
Yeah,
A lot of
it's either
shows
to
you
get that
Americanise it.
twang, you've got to hit into the nasal passage, or you kind of all your vowel sounds change because your mouth is changing shape. Especially if you've had singing lessons as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're taught, like you said, to that's the wrong technique. If
Yes.
you want to hit that note cleaner, and if you want to, not be using your throat, you want to use your chest, open your mouth more or whatever. But yeah, for this, it's just like no.
And it's so fast as well.
It is really
They have
fast.
to say some really, really fast lyrics, and I'm going, I can't even keep up with them, and I'm playing it.
And it's the two ends of the scale, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
find that people from Yorkshire, and obviously we all are, you're not.
You're not. Some of them aren't. Some of them are from Lancashire.
No. But at certain times, Yorkshire people speed at 10 million miles an hour,
Yes.
speak at 10 million miles an hour. But then other times, they're really laid back and lethargical. So, like, they slow and they draw the accent out. But that works with the script, because there's times when they need that and times when they need the other. So
Yeah, that's true.
I think Mel's a good example of that.
she is.
Where she can kind of rush certain bits, especially when George is trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
But then other times, like, to slow it down, gives that comedic
It
effect
does.
of, like, impatient kind of, oh, this is annoying, this is what it's like being
She's
Nicky
very
and-
eye-catching on stage.
Yeah.
She catches you constantly because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, she's funny, but not in a.
But
distracting.
this
kind
is
of
the
way.
other thing that's worked, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the audition day to
Yeah.
where we're at now,
Yeah.
you can see that we were absolutely 100% spot on with the casting, with
Yeah.
who we cast for each particular role.
Everyone's saying that as well. Everyone I've spoken to has said how much they've enjoyed being a part of this ensemble piece, and how everyone's just really friendly and welcoming and nice. And I think that's the big thing for me, right, is that this show gets people to see the good bits of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Obviously, especially in Huddersfield where we are now, there's been a lot of bad news recently. There's been a lot of stuff where people have been kind of a little bit put off by the town. But
Yeah, I'll agree
this
with
is
you.
one of those shows where it can kind of really showcase the actual people in and around Huddersfield and wider Yorkshire towns and villages. And you get to see that, that friendly, approachable nature that a lot of Yorkshire people have. I mean, the tight-fisted side as well with Harry. But, like, you'll get to see a lot of people kind of just being basically personas of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the things that I'm certainly using in my strapline for anything I'm writing about the show, whether it be for the programme or anything like that, is that if you just want, with everything that's going on at the moment, and obviously the weather's been pretty miserable as well, if you just want that little bit of 2 hours worth of sunshine, come and watch this musical, because you'll get it. You might
You
get the
will know
pathos as
someone.
well, and you might get some of the, oh gosh, right, that's hard hitting.
Yeah.
But the majority of it, just that little ray of sunshine and forget the world out there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's been so brilliantly written that even as you're watching it, you could, even, regardless of who's playing it, you can see someone in your life.
Yeah.
In every single character.
Everyone
and I've
knows a
sat.
Harry and a
Yeah,
George.
everyone knows a George, definitely.
It's completely representative, because we
Yeah.
said to the company as well, think of a character for yourself. Because
Yeah.
you are just a villager in this particular village or town or wherever we are. And I've already had requests from a few people like, can I do this? Can I do that? Of course you can, because we want to be really representative. So like, for example, Anne-Marie sent me a message on Friday night. It's just really random message on a 9 o'clock on a Friday night. But can I be a butch goth? And I went, why not?
Yeah.
We'd have them in every town, in every village.
didn't know that. That's
there's-
exciting.
What is it? There's is it Whitby? Is it Whitby that I'm thinking
Yeah,
of?
no, you,
Oh, yes, with
yeah,
the
you
goth
are with
festival.
Dracula,
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like a kind of goth
They do, yeah.
They do.
subculture, right?
But it means that
Everyone
people are
is.
starting
October.
thinking about what they want to do there, which is good.
Yeah.
Thinking it
I
through.
do have one disclaimer,
Okay.
and this is a warning to the audience.
Is this exclusive to the podcast?
It certainly is. Yeah. Signing up for the show, I've spent quite a bit of time on it before we announced it, before talking to Richard, listening to the music, listening to the songs, loving it, really liking the script. We decided, right, it's going to work. It's kind of a play with music. It's going to work. We don't need a choreographer. You can direct it, produce it, and it'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Number after number, can we do some choreography? And it's like, I am not a trained dancer. I am trying my best, but I apologise if it's not quite right.
Well, if you've been watching the podcast, you'll realise that actually all Richard has done is sing your praises
Oh, bless him.
for
Yes,
the directing and the
that's true.
choreography. And and also singing Keira's praises in terms of the music and approaching this, because you've had no reference point, you've got to assemble this band. This is, if I'm right in thinking as well, like this, the band that's going to be playing for this show is probably quite different to other bands that you've had before.
In a way, but quite a lot of them have played in nearly every other show I've MD'd. So it's really nice in that, because he found them to help him write the scores themselves. So, if he didn't know what a guitar could do in this particular bar, he sent the score to the guitarist and said, oh, what's this? And apparently he sent him this. He said it on the podcast, and then the whole first page just had red marks all over it. And I was like, yeah, but you did ask. But they're all people. I didn't know he'd asked these people. And then he was like, oh, so this person's playing the drums and this place is playing the guitarist. And I was like, oh, these are all the people in my bands anyway. So it's scary in that it's all brand new. Yeah. And there are some new musicians in and some pro musicians that don't just do amateur shows. They do professional shows as well. So I don't know them, but I'm sure they'll be like any musicians. We'll go out for a drink, it'll be right. But it's like, it'll feel like home, which is really lovely. I'm a lot less scared about that than I would have been if it was a completely brand new band, because you never know what the dynamic is going to be. But they're all, I mean, you've spoken to the drummer. He's more Yorkshire than I am. Can't understand a word he says half the time.
Well, you don't need to. As
long as he's hitting things, you're right.
Do you drumming accents? Not sure about that one. No. Oh dear. But the whole process has just been. There's no angst. There's no panic.
Yeah.
Even though we all are approaching it, like we said, it's completely brand new. The whole thing's just been joyous and a community feel, and everybody's just getting on with it. And we've done something slightly different this time. Every society you've ever done, like I've been doing it for over 35 years, you always rehearse 7:30 till 9:30. And it's like sometimes for me, I felt this, where you get home from work, you sit down and maybe have something to see, and it's then like, got to get a second wind now and get out and go to rehearsal. Whereas I think because we started at 7, people have rushed a little bit more, so everybody's come with real enthusiasm, energy. Yeah. And it also means finishing at 9, it's a little bit earlier, so actually you're not as tired. So we seem to be powering through a lot quicker for that reason as well. So I think that's something we might take forward, to be honest, but that's aside.
I think you hit it on the head just before when you said it feels like home. I think that's the whole point, right? Is that when the audience come in, like all this work that's going into this right now and making everyone feel comfortable when they're in rehearsals, if everyone's feeling, because you could be really anxious, like you said, because this is coming to a new show that's never been done before, everyone's learning it together, everyone's in the same boat. Like some people might have done, like for example, I've done Legally Blonde twice now. Only show I've ever done twice. There'll be people, yourself, Naomi, Nikki, Helen, who've been doing shows for years and years more than the rest of us. You might have done the same show 2 or 3 times before, and you might kind of come into one of them after another and gone, oh, okay, well, it was better when we did it this way. Whereas with this, everyone's on the same playing field. Everyone knows that they're in it together. They're approaching the characters for the first time. They're learning the numbers all together, the choreography all for the first time. There isn't a reference point. And I think that build-up to getting in 6 weeks' time, 5 weeks by the time this episode plays, sorry, that anxiety should not be there, though, because I think at the end of the day, when people come to see this, their expectation is going to be, it's chip shop musical. It's about a family in Yorkshire and what goes on in and around them. And because it's purposely not kind of, not being billed as being built up to be, like a Wicked, where it's got this big magic kind of thing or anything like that, people will come and expect it to be grounded in reality, and they'll see the eccentricities and the things coming out. But it's all, as you said, it's stuff that they can relate to. They know a George, they know a Harry. So it's one of those things where I think people are going to feel like the show's familiar, even though they've never heard or seen it before.
I think it will be anyway, the amount of times we've sat in rehearsals and gone, oh, this is that song. This sounds like this song from Victoria Wood or from like, World War II. Yeah, not like a copy, but like you go, oh, do you know, the whole set of this just makes me think of this, and I'm not going to spoil it, but all the way through Out We Outrageous, I was going, oh, this is...
I think they'll get more than they expect.
Yes, absolutely.
Genuinely, because... like you said, they will come in with a certain expectation, but actually, no idea, no clue. Yeah. So it's like, I don't really know what we're going to see. But then as the show goes on, it'll be like, oh, God, right, okay. Yeah.
Literally
Good,
anyone I've ever spoken to about this is excited that they're coming to see something that no one's seen before.
It gives me the same feelings, what you just said. It gives me the same feeling when I went to see Come From Away. Because I knew nothing about that show. Went in, it was a brand new musical in the West End at the time when we went to see it. Literally just got told, we're going to see this. I went, okay, sat down, and then about 10 minutes in went, oh my God, it's 9/11. Spoilers if you've not seen Come From Away. Whereas with this, it's like, it's there's no one single thing. It's just how people in Yorkshire are.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just a normal family drama that just happens to be set with a fish and chip shop and a pub, and everybody just kind of has their own little weird insecurities and dramas and everything going on. And you know, there's some stripping, there's a hen do, there's just normal stuff, but it's
They'll get more than what they thought they'd get.
They'll get plenty.
Yeah. The insecurities are there, but as long as you don't show that and crack on, that alleviates.
I think it's worth having them. It's like if you stop getting like butterflies before you go on stage, stop doing it.
Stop doing it. Yeah. I know some people that don't, like then it surprises me.
Some shows I've not been nervous at all.
No, we've talked about it before, haven't we?
Yeah. But other shows...
I literally, before the opening night of any show I've ever done, and I've been doing this for years now, I'm like, I'm going to die.
To be honest, I keep panicking about what I'm going to feel and you're going to feel on the opening night, but we have...
You're on stage, I'm back there somewhere.
This is what I'm saying, we have other people to think about this time. It's like, God knows what Richard's going to be feeling.
Yeah.
Because he's stood in the wings thinking, right, this is it.
Yeah.
This is all the hard work. This is years of work. And I'm in it. What on earth is he going to be feeling? And so we're just going to have to take that into account when we're thinking, if we think we feel bad, imagine what
Richard feels like,
Just like, oh.
Gosh, bless him.
Yeah.
Nah, it'll be great.
But hopefully we've done our jobs and actually he'll be stood in the wings going, no, I've got confidence, this is going to work.
Well, I do.
I think they both have. Have you seen them sitting at the side of rehearsal sometimes? And they're
both
like little, really excited children.
I try not to look too much.
It is the cutest thing in the world. I love it. I'll be sat there just sort of have a backing track on or something, or I'm playing, and just out the corner of my eye, Maria will be going, I'll be like, oh.
When the red pen's been put away.
Yes, that's when you know you've done well.
You've done it, okay. Yeah. Awesome. Right, thank you very much for chatting to me, guys.
Yeah, cheers, Matt.
So, that was Neil and Keira, and I believe that we're going to be speaking to a few more people on the run-up to the show itself, aren't we?
Yeah, we've got a couple more interview episodes. We haven't got many episodes of the podcast left now.
Really haven't, no.
No. So, which means it's time to push the tickets once again.
It is.
So let me tell you that in this fine building, you can come and get your tickets from the box office. But if you're not in the Huddersfield area and you don't want to pop into the theatre, you can do it online. And you can order those at www.thelbt.org.
Alternatively, what you could do if you don't want to go straight to that website is you could go right here to our Instagram and you can follow us and you can see the behind the scenes. There's also a link tree on there which will take you to our YouTube page, or Richard's YouTube page, I should say, where you can watch this very podcast if you're not already watching it. If you've been listening, then you can also get all your podcasts there as well.
Sure.
And you can go to richsykes.com and you can learn more about the man sat to my right.
Indeed. Well, folks, it's been very special. Lovely episode. Thank you very much to Neil and Keira for giving us their time. And thank you to you for watching.
Awesome. Right. Thanks very much, Rich.
Cheers, man.
See you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.